Two men dressed in Russian military uniform have caused a brawl in an airplane. The flight was bound from Moscow to Ulan-Ude city on Buryat region. The video capturing the brawl has been shared in social media platforms. The fighting started over rude behavior of two passengers in military uniforms. The men were drinking alcohol and smoking a cigarette in the cabin. They spoke rudely to the flight attendants who were warning them against such behavior. They hit one of the passengers, and used swear words. In the video recording, a flight attendant can be heard telling the men that the plane could be grounded. "We're not flying to Ulan-Ude," the flight attendant warned. One of the passengers got slapped by the assailants. The brawl was interrupted by a third man in uniform. He calmed the passengers down and asked them to behave properly. They made a bit more noise and then settled down. The date of the brawl is unknown. A Russian Su-30 fighter jet has crashed in the Republic of Karelia during a training flight, and the crew has been killed. Details: according to the Russian Defense Ministry, the aircraft crashed on November 13 at about 1900 hours Moscow time. The aircraft crashed in a deserted area. The flight was carried out without ammunition. The crew was killed, the ministry stated. Head of Karelia Artur Parfyanchikov said that emergency services had gone to the site of the military aircraft crash in the Pryanesky district of the Republic. It should be noted that the Su-30 fighters are multi-role combat aircraft, and their cost ranges from $35 to $40 million. The Su-30 is a two-seat multi-role fighter jet of the 4+ generation. The Su-30 is developed from the Su-27 platform. It has two turbojet engines and is designed for air superiority, escort missions, strikes on ground and naval targets, as well as radar surveillance. Various Su-30 modifications, including export versions and specialized models like the Su-30 MKA, Su-30 MKK, and Su-30 SM, differ in equipment, from radars and avionics to canards and engines, affecting maneuverability, range, and weapons load. Deliveries of Su-30 modifications to the Russian Air Force and naval aviation began in 2010. At least 100 modified Su-30 M2 and Su-30 SM aircraft have been delivered. By order of Russian President Vladimir Putin on January 12, 2018, the Su-30 SM was accepted into service with the Russian Air Force. Some versions carry air-to-air and air-to-surface guided weapons, with payloads reaching several thousand kilograms. The aircraft is built using a standard aerodynamic configuration and features an integral airframe. The mid-mounted trapezoidal wing blends seamlessly with the fuselage, forming a single structural unit. Two AL-31F bypass turbofan engines with afterburners are housed in nacelles mounted beneath the structural unit. The tail unit is a twin-fin design, and the landing gear is a retractable three-point unit with a nose wheel. It can carry a wide range of air-to-air missiles, air-to-ground missiles and bombs on 12 hardpoints and is equipped with a built-in 30mm cannon mount.
Recently, it became known that Russian army commanders had given in, risking repeating the mistakes made in Avdiivka, Sudza, and Kupiansk. In Sumy Oblast, south of Varachino, 2 squads of Russian troops were sent through a pipeline to bypass a Ukrainian armed forces position. The occupiers' dreams of infiltrating behind enemy lines came true. At the exit, they were met by Ukrainian troops who completely massacred one of the squads. This was reported by the ZWAR correspondent. According to a Russian propagandist, the surviving pipeline tunnelers have escaped and are now attempting to link up with units storming Varachino from the west. Operation Pipe 4.0 has failed. They plan to launch Koreans into Ukrainian territory through these pipelines during the offensive, the Z military correspondent emphasized, adding that the pipeline networks will definitely be named after the Russian army commanders who ordered such maneuvers. Recall in March, as part of an offensive to retake territory in the Kursk region, Russian troops crawled through a section of a decommissioned gas pipeline in an effort to slip behind Ukrainian lines. The mission quickly became a patriotic spectacle in Russia, complete with a scale model pipe installed in a church courtyard and a song called Truba, pipe, with a chorus that goes, pipe, that's a Russian word, pipe, that means trouble. Be that as it may, pro-war commentators soon began discussing the ways in which the mission had gone terribly wrong. A soldier who allegedly took part in the operation described how some men suffocated inside the pipeline, while others died by suicide. In pursuit of the myth of heroic penetration, Russian military personnel climbed into an old gas pipeline through which gas had been pumped to Europe for years. However, Russian commanders did not even bother to think that the pipe had accumulated residues of technical oils, toxic resins, combustion products, rust, heavy hydrocarbons, and condensates. When inhaled, these substances destroy mucous membranes, cause severe chemical burns of the respiratory tract, and can provoke the development of chronic toxic pneumonia and even oncology. In addition, there was virtually no oxygen in the confined space of the pipe. The soldiers suffered from hypoxia and inhaled chemical vapors, which has already led to poisoning of varying degrees of severity for many of them. According to doctors, the soldiers' lungs are so damaged that they will most likely never recover. And all this for the sake of a banal propaganda show and an attempt to pass off an insignificant episode as a heroic special operation. In reality, there was practically no military effect from this adventure, but dozens of soldiers are now doomed to lifelong illnesses and disabilities. As a result, Russian propaganda is inflating victorious reports, hiding the real consequences. Reports of soldiers suffocating during Operation Stream had previously surfaced on Russian pro-war blogs. Self-styled war correspondent Vladimir Romanov blamed the deaths on poor planning, citing a lack of ventilation, drainage, water, food and communications. Russian propagandist Anastasia Kashevarova wrote that the troops had been poisoned by methane. In June, she claimed that participants were dying from lung damage, including cases of lung cancer and pulmonary embolism.